Well, very good morning, everybody, for Good Friday, the 15th of April. Looking across the country, we're in sort of a slack bit of weather at the moment, and with that, light winds and a lot of decent sunshine. And how lucky are we for a bank holiday? For most of it, it's going to be fairly fine and dry, maybe the odd spot of increased cloud at times, lasting for most of the weekend. So I think we got lucky with this one. Winds across the region, light and variable, probably got a southerly drift to them, are in the region of sort of 10 to 15 knots at most, but I reckon not much more than 10 in our area, a bit stronger the more north you go. But yeah, coming off the coast, so not a direction you'll be wanting to go today. Satellite picture over the UK shows this sort of swirl of cloud up here, but the odd bit of isolated high-level cloud just floating across the top of us, but not really producing too much in the way of stopping of soaring. Should be fairly nice and bright. Public forecast shows bright skies all day, top temperature of about 20 degrees almost, which is good to finally see that on the charts at last. And yeah, surface winds not much more than about 5 knots. And reasonably good visibility. Those temperatures are broadly in line with GFS, which sort of showed 20 in some of the towns and cities. So I'm sure that's on the cards, a nice spring day. Dew points are down to around double figures, sort of 10 degrees or so. Farnborough currently reporting calm wind, no cloud detected and good visibility, and the TAF is as simple as that, Cav OK. And if we look elsewhere, we'll look at Bryce Norton, few at 3,000 feet. Other than that, the rest of the TAF is actually based off stuff that happened already, so few at 3,000 feet. And looking at Oxford, again, few at 4,500 feet. So a nice day in prospect. And if we look at top meteo, in terms of flight distance, though not encompassing huge areas, it's 18 metre, certainly out towards the top of the West Country, Swindon, and up towards Oxford. So annoyingly, some of that sits in the prize zone, should be good. Yeah, it's just a case of not going towards the south coast today, but yeah, task out towards line and maybe down round across the top of the danger areas would look very nice, depending on what you're doing today. Soaring, looking like it will start at around the lunchtime. So yes, 12 o'clock. Q to blue to shallow Q in the area up to around 3,000 to 3,500 feet, and this afternoon getting to 4,000 to 4,500 feet, and sort of peaking at that. Some areas where it might get a little bit too cloudy, though looking at the Met Office, I would say that might not happen. Top meteo last week also showed it spreading out, and it didn't, or getting a bit congested, and it did not. So reasonably good cloud bases all across sort of out to the northwest. Not so good into Wales or down to the real West Country, and obviously, as you see here, the coast looking a little bit blue and dead. Potentially some convergences might be useful to have a look to see if any convergences coming in. Lasham probably will see a sea breeze front, maybe last thing today around sort of 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, but the difference between the sea temperature and the land temperature isn't that big currently, so I don't think it's quite as powerful as we see in latter parts of the year. Site forecast shows sort of 3-knot thermals up to 4,000 feet or so, reasonable in our area, and not really anything much else to say. Sawmet hasn't been updated, but as David says, cumulus triggering at 11 to midday. He talks about the lingering cloud, but as I said, the Met Office don't necessarily see that. And I don't think there's any risk of a shower today. So yeah, looks like a reasonable day. Good for the team training, which I know is going on. NOTAM wise, as we can see on here, paragliding just south of the Bride Zone, and these are just danger areas which have had their level changed. So Imber has been reduced to 3,000 feet. In fact, there's a number of ones that have been lowered. I think they've used numbering, which I'm not familiar with. So yeah, 14, 15, 16, 17 reduced to 3,000 feet. Check that in a bit more detail, I'd say. We'll go to 11 just see. And no danger air crossing services available. Larkhill dropped to 3,000 feet. Yeah, so if you're going to use that, just double check which one you're looking at. Good. Okay. Merv is running the airfield today because this briefing comes to you with me sat in the Cotswolds. So I'm off for a couple of days. Colin Watt is in Austria currently. So yeah, Merv will be looking after the place for Friday and Saturday, and I'll be back on Easter Sunday. But yeah, you should have a reasonable day, no jet movements. And may I suggest that if there is many of you, that you form a grid, and that with winching will probably do this. They'll probably do the same as yesterday, slightly offset and launch off grass. Okay, have a super day. And if you're coming out this way to the Cotswolds, I'll be waving. Cheers, bye for now.